We start with breaking news. Police in San Francisco, San Jose, Oakland, and cities across the country are right now investigating numerous bomb threats. This is the scene just about a half an hour ago at the Jewish Community Center in San Francisco, one of many scenes where bomb threats have come in within the past hour.
And this is a live look in San Francisco at the Marine Memorial Building in the city. Joining us now live on the phone is KPIX 5 security analyst Jeff Harp. So, Jeff, tell us what's going on. What kind of investigations are underway? Have they confirmed that they found any bombs or any devices?
All right, we are having some audio problems there with Jeff Harp. But as we mentioned, this is going on in cities across the country. So we're hearing about bomb threats in places like Boston, Denver, even Idaho. And the reports we're seeing, these early reports coming in, is that this was coming in through emails, perhaps a robo-email, and that recipients were being threatened that if they didn't present some Bitcoin, that they would then be bombed. So from what we understand, most of these bomb threats have so far been deemed not credible. We have not heard of any explosions or anybody actually being targeted with violence, just these threats.
And this is a live picture from the ground at the Jewish Community Center in San Francisco in the Lower Pack Heights neighborhood. You can see in this shot, police and authorities have cordoned off that area with yellow tape. Of course, it is an active investigation right now. We have a crew on the way to the scene to investigate, to ask those officers exactly what is happening. The Jewish Community Center also issued a warning out this morning, emailing some of the people out there saying that there was an evacuation in progress. And so we're going to continue to follow this. We have Jeff Harp on the phone right now. Jeff, do you hear us?
All right, we can hear you, Jeff. We can hear you. What do you know about these bomb threats? So far, we've been hearing that they're not credible. Is that the intel you're getting?
Yeah, that's the same thing I've heard, but unfortunately these things aren't taken lightly ever, and especially on the heels of the activity, the shooting we saw in France, everybody's on, at least in the law enforcement and intelligence communities, they're on high alert just because it's been a while since we've had an attack, and it's, you kind of get in a comfortable position. So we're hoping this is just something that's not real.
Well, what's stunning about this is that it's so incredibly widespread throughout the entire country, and that poses a problem, obviously, to authorities, Jeff.
Oh, it poses a big problem, and it's a huge drain on resources. If you remember a few years ago, there was a hoax that was put out there, a similar hoax, which spread virally across the internet, and it put a lot of people on high alert at a lot of different schools, and this just tremendously sucks up those resources in law enforcement.
Jeff, we know that local authorities from San Francisco, San Jose, Oakland, all investigating some threats in various cities across the Bay Area. At what point do federal authorities get involved?
Well, the federal authorities are going to get involved from the very beginning because they have access to information that may be able to help out the local authorities, and they're going to work jointly with these organizations as well. I mean, this isn't done in a vacuum. All hands on deck for this sort of thing.
And when we're talking about the possibility of a robo-email, that does give it the possibility of being a more widespread threat, but also possibly less of a threat. What do you make of that?
Well, they'll do some investigating into that. They'll have the cyber experts try to make a determination whether that's what's going on or if it's an actual threat that's being put out there by an individual or groups.
And what are you hearing about this possible blackmail, saying that people need to send in some sort of money or Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, so we've seen that. We've seen where there's been ransomware that has been put out to companies. They've shut down sites. I mean, this is not uncommon. And as we've seen crime evolve, we've seen the criminals evolve, so has the sort of methodologies that they're using to try to get their, ransom money.
At this point in a situation like this, obviously it's a big scare for anyone in the city because so many cities have been receiving these types of threats. What do analysts, security people tell, what are your recommendations for people in a time like this?
Well, unfortunately, you can't take it lightly because what if somebody takes something lightly, they don't report it, and a bomb goes off? Now that really puts us all in a bad situation. Call the police, let the authorities handle it. If you do receive one of these threats, yes, it's going to be really intensive for resources for law enforcement. But until we can figure out whether this is a hoax or not, we've got to treat it that it's not.
And how long do you think that could take? I mean, we've got landmarks all over the city, Bay Area, all over the country that are now sort of being frozen by this. And as you mentioned, all of the resources being poured out when it comes to police. How long do you think this could go on?
Yeah, that's anybody's guess. I got a call while ago from some security people in Indianapolis, and they were asking me some of the same questions because, I mean, it is extremely widespread right now. That tends to make me believe it's, more on the hoax side than not. But again, we just don't take these things lightly anymore, and it really puts everybody on edge, and it really stretches resources thin for law enforcement.
All right, security analyst for us, Jeff Harp, joining us on the phone. Jeff, thank you for that information.